According to a segment aired earlier today on SportsCenter, the New York Knicks have emerged as the frontrunners to sign former league MVP Russell Westbrook. The buzz is growing as the team still holds one final veteran minimum slot on their roster, and the speculation around who will fill that spot has picked up serious momentum. It was reported that oddsmakers, specifically Bovada, currently list the Knicks as the most likely destination for Westbrook, placing their odds at plus 250. Behind them are the Sacramento Kings at plus 350, despite already acquiring Dennis Schroeder. This info first surfaced through Sports Illustrated and has quickly become one of the biggest talking points around the league. But these betting odds have been anything but static. As noted by NBA Central and picked up again on SportsCenter, the Kings have now jumped into the top spot at plus 150, with the Knicks sliding into second at plus 350. Other teams rounding out the list include the Bucks, Heat, and Mavericks. But no matter how the odds shift day to day, the Knicks continue to be listed as one of the primary candidates to land Westbrook. That said, there's been some confusion. When you track all the prior reports, this potential signing doesn't feel as inevitable as the numbers suggest. There's no doubt Westbrook brings an intense competitive edge, leadership, and postseason experience. And if he's willing to accept a veteran minimum and a reduced role off the bench, there's a legitimate argument that signing him would be a massive value pickup. The Knicks could certainly benefit from his energy, especially during stretches where momentum or chemistry dips. And say what you want about his fit, Westbrook is a former MVP who still brings production, grit, and presence on and off the court. If New York could get that kind of impact for the minimum, it would be an absolute win. His motor alone would be a game changer, and having that veteran voice in the locker room would complement the existing culture. It's that kind of addition that could sharpen the edge of a playoff-caliber roster and push them further when the stakes rise. But if Westbrook is still available, and New York is this high on the odds list, what exactly is the delay? SportsCenter revisited a July 8th report from Brett Siegel of Clutch Points, where it was stated that New York's interest in Westbrook had cooled significantly in the early days of free agency. But that was then, and a lot has changed since. Several targets the Knicks were originally prioritizing have now signed elsewhere. That may be forcing the team to reconsider players they initially paused on, Westbrook included. There was a time when the mutual interest between Russell Westbrook and the New York Knicks felt not just speculative, but genuinely tangible. Conversations were happening, buzz was building, and for a moment, it seemed like the pairing could actually come to fruition. However, the dynamic began to shift after the Knicks made a couple of notable additions in Jordan Clarkson and Gerson Yabusele. Those acquisitions filled specific roles and altered the roster landscape, making Westbrook's potential fit on the team a bit more complicated. As things currently stand, the organization's stance on bringing in Westbrook has grown murkier, and there's little clarity about what Westbrook himself is thinking regarding a possible role on this new-look Knicks squad, especially one where he might not be guaranteed the spotlight or even consistent minutes. Yet, despite the uncertainty, there are still whispers that the story might not be over. If the latest betting odds are to be believed, there's enough movement behind the scenes to suggest that some level of interest remains. And in the NBA, where smoke often leads to fire, that shouldn't be ignored. While no move appears imminent, it wouldn't be shocking to see the Knicks circle back to Westbrook once the dust settles elsewhere. One possible reason for the delay in decision-making? According to a recent report from SportsCenter, it could all hinge on Ben Simmons. He's currently considered the Knicks' top priority in free agency, and his final decision is expected to be announced sometime next week. Until that domino falls, New York appears content to wait, weigh all possibility, and keep its options open. Let's talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers for a moment. This is a team that's been carefully built and structured to compete, and with the recent addition of Kevin Durant, they may have found exactly what they were missing. One of the glaring issues for Cleveland during the playoffs last season was the absence of a true go-to scorer, someone who could take over in critical moments and create their own shot under pressure. KD immediately solves that problem. He's still one of the most unstoppable offensive forces in the game, and when the postseason slows down and the half-court game takes over, having someone like Durant becomes a game-changer. If you look across the current landscape of the NBA, it's hard not to notice how many Western Conference teams dominate the upper tier of most power rankings. That's largely because the Eastern Conference is wide open right now. There's no clear-cut dominant team. Boston is strong, yes, but outside of them, the field feels wide. When you consider that the Indiana Pacers are being listed as the 15th best team in the entire NBA, despite not having their best player available and having lost a major piece like Miles Turner, that really gives you an idea of how much space there is in the East for someone to break through. One team that doesn't seem to be getting nearly enough credit right now is the Atlanta Hawks. If this squad can stay healthy, and particularly if Jalen Johnson can remain available and consistent across a full 82-game stretch, this team could surprise a lot of people. There's a ton of talent there that people are overlooking. And with a core that includes Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, they have the tools to make some noise if everything falls into place. Anything short of an NBA Finals appearance this upcoming season would feel like a major disappointment. After all the strategic moves this organization has made, from key roster acquisitions to a complete shakeup in leadership, it's clear that the bar has been raised. This is no longer a team content with simply making a strong playoff push. They broke through and reached the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in more than 20 years. And instead of settling, they made the bold and controversial decision to move on from Tom Thibodeau, the very coach who played a pivotal role in that historic run. A move like that signals nothing less than championship ambitions. You don't let go of a coach who helped revive your franchise unless you're convinced the team is ready to take the next leap. It means you believe the window to win it all is wide open, not sometime in the future, but right now. And if they do manage to get back to the finals, they have to seize that opportunity. The East won't stay wide open forever. Boston will continue to reload. Indiana's young core is going to keep improving. Orlando's promising group of talent is developing faster than expected. The window is now. This is the season to capitalize. Now, let me be clear. No one's saying that anything short of winning the championship should automatically be labeled a failure. But with the way this team is built, with the moves the front office has made, and the talent now assembled in New York, there's no denying it. The expectations have changed. The bare minimum for this season has to be reaching the NBA Final. That's not an overreaction. That's just the reality. The time for moral victories and "we'll get 'em next year" speeches is over. The Knicks have spent years rebuilding, reshaping, and waiting for the right moment. That moment is now. This fan base has endured decades of heartbreak, false hope, and rebuilds that never quite delivered. But this time it feels different. There's real star power, there's depth, there's chemistry, and most importantly, there's belief. Not just in the locker room, but throughout the city. The front office did its job. They took bold swing, made big acquisition, and put together a roster with championship aspirations. Now the pressure shifts to the coaching staff, and specifically to Mike Brown. He was brought in to be the leader of this group, to elevate this team from good to great. The question now is, can he deliver when it matters most? We're going to find out soon enough. Because when the lights are the brightest, when the playoffs hit, when the crowd is roaring, when the moment feels too big, that's when true contenders reveal themselves. And if you're a Knicks fan, if you've been waiting your whole life to see this franchise return to the NBA Finals, after more than 2.5 decades, this is your time. So rally behind the team, smash that like button, share the dream, and prepare yourself. Because this season could be the one that redefines Knicks basketball forever. The roster is ready. The city is ready. All that's left is to go out and prove it. Let's go, Knicks.